First of all, I think we can put a pretty good team on the field as I look out here and see some of the guys out here that have played for me in years past. I think we would be able to handle the Rumbles and John Curtis's of the world. I'm gonna start this off by reading a prepared statement. I took the advice. I've always been one to listen to people who know. And Mr. Ed Daniels and Mr. Kenny Trahan said you start a press conference off by reading a prepared statement. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read a prepared statement, and then I guess we'll open it for questions or whatever you guys want to do. But I have nowhere to go, and I will be here around here a while, a long while, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and then we'll ask questions if you have any. To start off, I would like to thank Shaw Principal Father Steve Ryan, who I first met about 35 years ago when he was Brother Steve Ryan, for making this day possible. Knowing that I would become public school retirement eligible after the school year, I was pretty sure that this was going to be my last season as a head football coach. I've been honored and humbled to coach at Ponchatoula High School for the last 14 years, the last 11 as the head coach. Thanks to a lot of hardworking players and assistant coaches, we achieved great success, culminating in the school's first appearance in the state championship game in 80 years. I'm going to say it again, in 80 years. Unfortunately, we came up a little short against Zachary, but it was truly a magical season for both our program and for the wonderful town of Ponchatoula, which has embraced myself and my wife Joanne, as evidenced by the tremendous support for the Green Wave in the stands at the Superdome. I would later find out Father Steve was one of the people in the stands. Father, we normally win. I'm sorry we were 0-1. But after much prayer, thought and prayer during the Christmas holidays, I decided to retire. And I informed our principal, Dr. Anna Faye Caminita, who incidentally was an Eagleette. She told me back in the late 80s. Small world. Right after return from the break, I notified her that I would be retiring. I pretty much thought, after 36 years as a head coach, the first 19 years at Shaw, that I was finished coaching. But then a little over 2 weeks ago, I got a call asking if I was interested in the job here, which was open. I did more thinking and praying, knowing that I would only return if I could make the 100% commitment that I have always made and that this great school deserves. The more I thought about it, the more intrigued I became. This is where it all began for me, as a West Banker who became an assistant in 1977 to the great Joe Zimmerman, my mentor. My family and I have so many great memories of this place, on and off the football field. And I can tell by the incredible number of calls and texts that I began to receive from alumni that this could be a great opportunity. I want to stress that this is the only job that would have stopped me from going off into retirement, the only one. After several days of heartfelt conversations, my wife and I decided that we were ready to return. I want to thank all my players and coaches of Ponchatoula for their love and support. I want to thank a lot of my former Shaw players who have reached out to me the last few weeks. It has been amazing to hear from them again and to know that I will be working with them and their sons as we move forward. It has been a while, but I have to say it is a great, great time for me to be back on the West Bank. And that's my statement. Again, from the bottom of my heart, I could not be happy to be back here. I see so many people that I had spent so many great memories with, so many people out here who contributed so much to the success of this school. And they say you can't go home again, but I'm one of the few fortunate ones who will be able to do that. And I thank you for your coming out for this today. I thank Father Steve. I thank the great people who have run this school for 60 years. A lot of my former players out there, I thank you for being here for me. And just happy to be here, happy to be back with the West Bank. So if you got any questions or anything, I'm willing to answer them, or however you want to do it. Yes, sir.
Hank, just looking at the room, as full as it is, describe as best you can what this means to you.
First they told me we would have a press conference, and I think I told Father Steve, why? He said, no, we're gonna have a press conference, you know, and obviously it's it's a pouring of people who love this school. You know, I was a part of this school for 25 years. The best 25 years of my life, probably, as far as coaching goes. Won a lot of games, had a lot of great people to play for me, met and made a lot of great relationships here. And it's just good to see them all back. It's just good to see everybody here, you know, back to the school that they love, and just happy to be a part of that. But it's really, I'm really excited and touched by the turnout here.
Coach, what were your thoughts and emotions walking into this building again?
Well, they told me there was just a few people here. You want to talk about in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, they said, my wife said there's just a few people up there. But it was kind of like when we walked out in the Superdome 5 weeks ago and I saw all the people there. You know, it's kind of the same thing. You know what the game plan is, and you know where you got to go, but then you walk out and you see this type of turnout, this type of support. You know, I just know that, you know, it's going to be a great run.
Coach, I watched your presser from Ponchatoula in the Dome this morning. I was just getting reacquainted with everything. You were like, I'm done, I'm gonna talk to my wife, I'm done. Shaw was, if it was anybody else but Shaw, you'd have been retired. This was just something you couldn't say no to.
I'd have been on the sofa right now, probably, watching Sports Center or something, yeah. But no, definitely, and even when I first got the call, I was like, man, I'm flattered, but you know, I'm done. You know, I'm done. And then I started talking to different people. I started talking to a lot of old players. And I just felt, you know, from the old players that, you know, they wanted this to happen, you know, and again, if it wasn't me, it'd be Shaw nowhere, you know, and I got this opportunity, and the more I thought about it, the more I said, I got to tell you, I can't pass this up. So, you know, we're gonna take our shot. Now, I know it's a honeymoon right now. You know, we play St. Charles Catholic and Rome the first 2 weeks, so. The honeymoon might be over quick, but give us a little time, though.
Hank, as far as keeping the kids on the West Bank, how big a...
Well, we already started construction there. We're gonna build a fence. All the way to Crescent City Connection. But I just made a statement a little while ago, and I only mean this in the best way. There's gonna be a game this week in the NFL where Fulton, what's Fulton's first name for Rumble? Christian Fulton is gonna be covering Jamar Chase. Well, they both went to junior high on the West Bank, and they both went to Rumble, you know, so, I mean, good for Rumble, but at the same time, you know, obviously there's a lot of really good athletes and talented kids on the West Bank, and our goal is the ones that want to get a Catholic education, a good Christian education. We want those kids on the West Bank to come to show, and that's obviously very, very important.
Hank, obviously you're contemplating retirement. How long can your second term go here? You just gonna play it by ear, or how is it gonna go for you?
Well, I'm a coach as always, Nick Saban. What I'm gonna do? Nick Saban's a month older than me, younger than me, and Matt Brown's a month younger than me. Now they both about $100 million richer than me. But, you know, I'm a coach as long as I can. And you know, I said the other day I'm 70 going on 40, and my wife said, "Don't get stupid." 70 going on 50. So, but I'm a coach hard. I mean, at practice, I coach. I don't just walk around. I coach, and you know, I'm a coach. As long as I can physically do it, I'm gonna do it. And I didn't feel like I had slowed down any in the last 5 or 6 years. And you know, we had a really good bunch of kids that kept you active and Ponchatoula kept you rolling. And I feel like I can coach. God willing, as long as I'm healthy, I can coach.
Coach, I don't want to use the word afraid, but was there any thought that, boy, I'm gonna retire and maybe it's just not gonna suit me? Did you?
That was when the afraid came. I sit in front of that TV and just watch film and watch football, watch movies. But you know, as the Christmas holidays went on, I was bored. You know, and I started going to watch people practice and all. You know, and I'm watching stuff on TV, and I finally realized that all of a sudden, yeah, you can wake up and you can Get Up on Sports Center, you can watch the news, whatever. But then at some point, you got to do something. And you know, I said, well, I'm gonna do something I like. So I felt like that was going to happen, you know, I was gonna have to find a hobby. Now, I have no hobbies. If I had to nail a nail, I couldn't do that. I'd break my finger trying to nail, and I certainly can't fix anything. You know, I go get my oil changed by people that know how to change oil, and I call, you know, what is it when you have a flat tire? What's the place you call? AAA. I call AAA. You know, I don't do none of that. I never did learn how. When I started working with Joe Zimmerman, we just did football 24/7. So I never developed any hobby. So, you know, I was gonna have to get a hobby. She was saying all kind of crazy things like, you know, maybe you can play golf. I don't know if I can play golf. You know, or maybe you can go work at Walmart. That was one of us. I could be welcome to Walmart breeder, you know, but I was like, nah, we're not gonna do that. But I like to coach football. You know, I do like to coach football, and you know, and so I still, you know, would like to coach football. Now, this opportunity came along to run a program again, you know, and a program where I had enjoyed the best, the happiest times of my life, you know, here in the 70s and 80s and 90s. And the opportunity, when I sat there and really thought about it, that opportunity to come back here was just, I couldn't pass it up.
The fact that Father Steve acknowledged heartache in the past, it was what happened way back when was really hard for you and your wife. How important was that to hear those words?
Well, the first thing Father Steve did when he reached out to me was, you know, there were mistakes made. And look, we you know, I made mistakes too. You know, it wasn't just, sure. I mean, you know, we all did things that we wished we hadn't done. But when he reached out to me, it was like, hey, you know, there were mistakes made in the past. Let's move on. You know, let's not even look back. And I haven't. I was bitter for a few years, you know. I went to West Jefferson and, you know, we got it going over there, you know, and I kind of didn't look back. You know, I got to where I was pulling for sure. You know, Tommy Connors was a friend of mine. You know, I was pulling for him. You know, I was excited when they beat Holy Cross, you know, this year in the district, first district game. So, you know, I had moved on from a hurt, but I'm gonna tell you, I was hurt. You know, it was a very hurtful thing. I remember walking out of this room, is where I met my last meeting, walking out of this room and being like, I can't believe this has happened to me, you know, and it had, but not looking back, just moving on and just, you know, have a tremendous opportunity to come back here, and I'm just very appreciative of that.
Two things. You've been in touch with Tommy quite a bit over the past couple of years, so you have an idea of what's here, what kind of talent is here, what needs to be done, what needs to be improved. How far away do you feel like this program is from being what you want it to be?
Well, I do know one thing, and I'm not slighting any schools, but I don't see John Curtis, Brother Martin, Edna Carr, Rummel, well, Rummel's still on the schedule. So the fact that, you know, we're going down to 4A, you know, I think, you know, we used to call it the gauntlet when I was here, how hard it was to win the Catholic League, you know, and it's actually harder now when you add John Curtis to the mix, who was not there when I was here before. So while I'm sure there'll be very good teams in 4A, you know, I don't think, you know, with a school with the enrollment not as big as it was when I was here, you know, you play against 4A schools, you don't need as much depth as you would need. I remember watching Brother Martin run out this year to 100-something kids, you know, running out. So, you know, I think, you know, we'd be very competitive. You know, I'll be disappointed if we don't be competitive, and I'll be disappointed if we don't make ourselves be known and be a force in the district that we're in and eventually in the playoffs. So I think, you know, we could be okay.
And knowing your reverence for the Catholic League, ultimately, would you like to build this back up to where you can be part of that again?
No doubt, because that would mean the enrollment's up. You know, that would mean we get the enrollment up, we'll jump right back into that class. There's a lot of guys sitting out here right now in front of me that won a ton of games in the Catholic League when they played here. I see the 4Ks out there, they won a trillion games, you know, out here when they were playing. I see a bunch of guys, Michael Bourne standing in the back, you know, I don't know if he lost a district game in the 3 years he played here, you know, so yeah, we love playing in the Catholic League, and we would like nothing better to get back in the Catholic League, but, you know, we gotta have success, you know, we gotta get the ball rolling again, we gotta get the enrollment up.
Hank, how improbable is today, do you think?
You know, it didn't hit me. We stopped and got coffee at the little place across the street. It was the Coffee and I was looking across the expressway and I was just shaking my head, like basically saying, what am I doing here? And then we went down and turned in and came in and I saw the big Archbishop Shaw. And I thought to myself, never in a million years would I have ever thought at any time up to 18 days ago, when Father Steve and I spoke, that I would have had the opportunity to come here and coach. I'd have never thought that. So was it improbable? Absolutely.
Coach.
Yes, sir.
When you left, there was no stadium on campus. What does it mean to you to have a stadium on campus?
Man, I saw it once. Tim, I haven't had a chance to walk it yet. I want to do that before I leave. I just saw it from the outside. I mean, obviously, fantastic. You know, fantastic to have a stadium. You know, at Ponchatoula, we had a stadium, and it was always an experience. To play in your home stadium on a Friday night in prep football, there's nothing like it. You know, and you know, I was sitting thinking the other day that some of those really great teams we had here in the past, and they would have to close off the elevated expressway on a Friday night if Shaw would have had a stadium. You know, all roads would have led to Shaw High School. So to have a stadium, and for me, to have it named after Joe Zimmerman, who is my mentor, the person who helped me so much in coaching, is even more special. But you know, stadium with lights and playing on Friday nights, and that's fantastic. I know you got a lot to do with that, so thank you for
We
that.
can put in more stands and just keep filling it up.
We gotta start winning. You're absolutely right.
Thanks, Coach.
Okay, hey, thank y'all very much. Really do appreciate y'all coming. Thanks again.